Hello everyone, happy holidays or happy new year depending on when you're watching this video. Welcome back to another app review on the mobile arena. The app that I'm going to review today is Lose It, and this application actually relates to a very common theme of the new year, and that is New Year's resolution of losing weight. Before I get started, I'll just have a quick background of it. So I've been using this app for over a month, and for me personally, I've always had somewhat of a struggle with staying healthy and maintaining a healthy body weight. I like swimming a lot and such, but despite that, I always have trouble, and through the years, my weight has always fluctuated a lot. Sometimes I would be a lot overweight, and sometimes I would be normal. So it always goes back and forth. Because of that, I've used a lot of ways and a lot of lifestyle changes, or like diet plans or exercise routines, to try to keep a healthy body weight and a healthy body fat percentage. But I've been using this application for just over a month, and I can say that it is the best, most effective way that I've used from all of the experience I've had in the past. Regardless, it still depends on the person. So we all know that when we talk about lifestyle changes, for everyone it's different, and this app may not work for you, but I just want to share my experience with using this app. I started using it over a month ago, and right now I've lost close to about 20 pounds. And what this app does essentially is that it is a calorie tracker. The first thing you do when you open this application, they're going to ask you to make an account, and I would suggest you do that because it only takes around 2 minutes, and once you make it, you can use this application across all devices, so iOS and Android. Currently I'm reviewing this on the Nexus 7 because just to make it easier for me to show you how the app works, but most of the time I use it on my iPhone because I have it on the go, so I can just use it whenever I'm eating or exercising. So essentially what this app does is, first they ask you to set a goal of how long you want to, how much you want to lose, or how much you want to maintain the weight that you want to maintain. And they always make sure that the weight loss is healthy, and that it's very incremental. So healthy weight loss is around 1 to 2 pounds a week. So they don't exaggerate. So they do tell me, okay, I have 150 days left before I will reach that weight. And then you just input the weight that you want to reach and how much you weigh right now, your age, and also the kind of lifestyle that you lead. So depending on what kind of work that you do, like if you do a lot of office work, they will try to incorporate that into the plan. Or if you're if the work requires you to have a lot of like active moving or whatever, they will incorporate that in as well. So once you set up that, you'll be greeted with this page, and this is essentially the main page for the application. It looks a bit different on iOS in that the buttons are on the bottom, like the tabs, but it works the same way. What this is for is it gives you an overview of the foods that you've eaten and what kind of nutrients that you've had. When you first start this, there will be nothing here, and like all lifestyle changes or habits, it takes time for you to get used to it. I learned somewhere before about how to make something a real habit. It takes around 23 days for an average human being, and I can say it took me less than that, but it still took me like around a few days to get used to it. So when you first start off, you'll have nothing. They'll have a budget for all the calories that you eat, and that budget is what you go by when you eat or exercise. So you have add foods or add exercise. So when we get started, let's say we want to add a food that we eat. We have different choices of breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then say I'm eating breakfast, I can just click search food. And this part is pretty much where the magic happens, is that they have a very large database, and you don't need Wi-Fi to use it. A very large database of many different kinds of foods. So right now I'm just going to search beef, for example. And so they have a lot of the foods itself. They also have supermarket foods and brands, which is very useful. Because one of the main problems people have with counting what they eat is that it's a hassle, to be honest. Like, it's a hassle having to note down everything and to choose everything. But thanks to this application and thanks to how technology has progressed, it has made it very easy. So next thing I do is I choose the food, and I can choose exactly how much I've eaten. And then say I ate like 8-ounce steak, I can just save it, and it will be right here. So this is basically how it works. Whoops. So I have to delete it because I didn't actually eat beef tenderloin. But so at this point it will be logged into here, and then this is just an example. This is all of the food that I ate today, and it will be categorized here. And there's also the exercise option. So let's go back to here. You can also add an exercise. So you can browse exercises, and there are a lot. And you can say maybe you did some running. Is there? Here. So you did some running, and they also have more options about how fast that you've ran, and it's very easy nowadays to calculate how fast you ran, because you can just use Google Maps or whatever, and then you add it in, and then depending on how long you've ran, you can just add it and save it into your exercise for that day. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but so these are the two options here, and by using that, your calories accumulate. So if you want to eat more, then you have to exercise more. And this budget is taken from how much you're supposed to eat daily, but a fraction of it is cut off because you're trying to lose weight. So you have to eat a bit less than your daily intake. Let's look at more options here on the home screen. We can also look at this week's calories. So this week is just starting, so there's not that many, but if I go back, you can have a look at how things have progressed. And as you see, the more I go back, the budget increases, and that is because the more weight I lose, the less I can eat in order to continue losing weight. And they have some pretty good guidelines and statistics that you can look at. Like, say for example, that day I overate, and then it will show you. You can also look at the nutrients. I don't look at this as much because I'm not actually that healthy sometimes. Most of the time it always says that I eat a lot of carbs when I look at this, or fat. And that's all we have for the my day. And for the log, it's just all the foods that I've eaten and the exercises. So I always end up eating like around 2,000. This day was an exception, of course, but I always end up eating around 2,000 or over 2,000, and because of that I have to end up swimming more. But I love swimming anyway, so it really doesn't matter. This Motivate tab will allow you to check out different achievements or challenges and groups and profiles. I haven't really been using that right now, but I know that there is an online community and they have a website where there's a lot of people that use it and they try to support each other. The last thing we're going to look at is the goals. And the goals is basically an overview of how you've been doing so far. And you can check out the different months or how I've been doing this week and all together starting from the beginning. And it gives you an idea of how you've come along since starting from the beginning. I just want to address some of the criticism I know that I'm going to get for this application as well. Like I said, weight loss is a very personal thing, and it's different for everybody. It also depends on what kind of a person you are when it comes to putting your mind to losing weight. I know that I've been lazy a lot of times, and that's why I've never been very successful. Another common criticism about this is the accuracy regarding calories. The fact that calories sometimes can be off, and what I do to give myself the benefit of the doubt is that I always try to overestimate the food that I eat. So, say for whichever day, even though I may not have eaten that many pieces or that many cups of vegetables, I try to overestimate so that I won't be eating too much in the end. Another thing is that what I find to be most effective is that this app, it just gives you an idea of all the food you've eaten. Personally for me, I never realized until I started using this application that I was actually consuming 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day on average, just like every day. And that's because I was never really aware of how much food I was consuming on a day-to-day basis. I think that this application has given me a better idea. And it's sort of like food sense. It makes you realize, oh, maybe I should be careful with the food that I eat and the food choices that I make. The last thing, well, I already said the last thing a few times, but the final thing I want to talk about is some of the improvements that I think can be made to this app. I would wish that this app to be more interactive, especially this graph here. That's why I was at this screen. Right now this graph is static. It doesn't really react to other than showing you the trail from your weight loss. And the problem with that is that sometimes I would like to check, say for a certain day, like how I was doing. Like I could click on it and see, okay, so at that day, that was the amount of weight that I was. But because of this, all I see is like the first one and the last one, but I can't really see the things in the middle. Another thing, and this is only pertaining to me actually, is I'm not sure there's some kind of glitch or something, but for swimming, so I swim every day, like frequently, and especially during the break, I've been swimming like twice a day. For some reason, when I put in freestyle is a relatively calorie consuming stroke, and I always give myself the benefit of the doubt, so I put freestyle moderate instead of vigorous, and it says that it burns 448, but then when I put leisurely, for some reason it says that I burn even more calories when I'm leisurely swimming. So that doesn't really make sense, and I don't know why it's like that. It might have to do with how they calibrate my weight to the swimming, whereas leisurely they might not be calibrating that to the weight. So that's another criticism I have. But overall, I think that this application has definitely done its job in making me more aware of making healthier choices. I especially like how sometimes when we eat foods over and over again, it shows up frequently. So once you add more and more, the food that you eat often, you can find it pretty easily because of how the application works. It stores up to 500 recently eaten foods. So at one point, like right now, I don't really have to use the search option anymore. I can just go to My Foods and it will be there. There's also no custom exercises, but there's also custom foods, and there are recipes as well. So as an example, like for this recipe, I like to eat this pan pasta salmon a lot, and instead of having to add all of this over and over again, I can just click, say when I'm eating it, I can just go to log, add lunch, and I can click recipes, and I can just click it and then add it in, and then I can just say 1 serving, and that's it. So overall, this app really helps make everything a lot easier when you're trying to track what kind of food you're trying to eat. And hopefully you can give it a try. It's free. There are premium features, but I'm not using them. And there's also add-ons like here. Guess it's not loading, but like Nike Fuel Band, or there's also a weight calculator that's integrated into this application as well. So hopefully you will have the same success that I had when using this application so far, and maybe in the future, if a lot of people do like this app on my channel, I can do an update of how I'm doing so far for my weight loss. So this is the end of the video. I just want to take one last moment to thank the reason why I came across this application was actually because of this host from Xstate Developers, and I've been following him for over a year because I like developer news, and he's been using the app for a year and he lost 80 pounds, and it was amazing because we saw him report the news every day, and day by day he would get skinnier and skinnier, and then one day we just realized, wow, like he had lost so much weight, like just his entire body, and like even on his face, like he was a lot slimmer. So I had to find out how he did it, so he made a video, and that was what gave me the idea to try it for myself because of his success. And I know this app has been out for a long time, but they're constantly still doing updates, so, and there's always never a bad time to start staying healthier or eating healthier or watching your weight, because there's a lot of health benefits to that. I hope you've enjoyed this app review and this video. I know it's a lot longer, and because weight loss is pretty personal and unique to everybody, so I just wanted to say about my experience using this application. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments and leave a like if I've helped you, and I'll see you next time.